Hi everyone, welcome back to my classes. Today in our class we'll be discussing about graphical representation of linear motion. In our class we'll be discussing four graphs. First one is displacement time graph, second one velocity time graph, third acceleration time graph, and at last some graph related to motion under gravity. Now let us start one by one. First we are going to discuss displacement time graph. Now these are the three possible graphs you are going to get it in your displacement time graph. Now here it is written displacement time graph, and when you see here it have given distance time graph. Now one thing I have to mention is that in one dimensional motion, displacement time graph and distance time graph both are going to be same. But when you come to motion in 2 dimension and 3 dimension, displacement time graph and distance time graph will be different. Now since you are learning motion in 1 dimension, displacement time graph and distance time graph both are going to be same. Now these are the graphs you are having. See the first graph. You are getting a straight line parallel to your x-axis or your time axis. A straight line parallel to the time axis means the object is moving stationary, right? Always remember, whenever you are getting a displacement time graph or a distance time graph with a straight line parallel to your time axis, it means the object is stationary, it is not moving. And one more thing, whether it be a displacement time graph, distance time graph, velocity time graph, or acceleration time graph, whatever it is, always time will be in your x-axis. And along your y-axis, it depends if it is a displacement time graph or distance time graph, y-axis will be distance. Velocity time graph, y-axis will be velocity. Acceleration time graph, y-axis it will be acceleration. Always remember, in your x-axis you are going to have time. Now coming back to the graph, see the second graph. The second graph, you can see that you are getting a straight line inclined to your x-axis. Now it means that the object is moving with a uniform velocity. Right? The object is going to move with a uniform velocity. Now in your third graph, you are getting a curved line. Right? So this means that the object is moving with non-uniform velocity. Now these are the three graphs you are having in your displacement time graph. First one, distance time graph. If it is a straight line parallel to your x-axis, it will be stationary. Straight line inclined to your x-axis means moving with uniform velocity, and if you are having a curve, it means that moving with non-uniform velocity. So these are the three main conclusions you are having from each graph. Now you are having some common conclusions. That is, the first point is that in a displacement time graph, whenever you take the slope of your graph, whatever be, let it be stationary, let it be uniform, or let it be non-uniform, if you take the slope of the graph, whatever you are having, it gives the velocity at that instant. Right? That is one important point, useful for your numerical purpose also. Now coming to the slope means, here in this case, usually in this case slope questions will not come. Slope questions will be coming in these two graphs, or maybe of different shapes also, that you will get more when you do with your numericals from this part. Now slope means wherever a point you are going to do like this, that is distance by time, will give you automatically velocity. That is only your slope. Right? Now in your curved graph, slope you will be finding like this, that is, in your curved surface, wherever you draw a tangent, at that point of tangent you calculate the slope, that will be the slope of that particular curved surface. Now what you are going to have is that, see, this each of the slope can give you, or each slope when you calculate at different point, you will be getting some velocity values. And if a displacement time graph or a distance time graph is being given, you calculate the velocities at different points, time you can take it uniformly, and you can make your velocity time graph with the given displacement time graph. So these are the main conclusions out of your displacement time graph. Now we are coming to velocity time graph. Now similar to your displacement time graph, you are having the velocity time graph as shown. Here if you are getting a straight line parallel to your x-axis or your time axis, it means that it is moving with a uniform velocity or it is having a uniform motion. Now secondly, if you are getting a straight line inclined to your time axis, it means that the body is moving with uniform acceleration. And if you are getting a negative downward straight line like this, it means that the velocity is decreasing, or decreasing velocity you have already seen that you call it as retarded motion. So these are the three graphs you are going to get it in your velocity time graph, right? Now coming to the conclusions of your velocity time graph, in your displacement time graph or your distance time graph, whatever is the slope you are going to calculate, the slope will give you velocity. There it was distance by time or displacement by time. Now automatically you can think here it is velocity by time. Change in velocity by time is acceleration. So automatically whatever is the slope in each case, in your slope you will be getting, if whenever you calculate, you will get the acceleration. Now next point is that same as that you have drawn your velocity time graph from your distance time graph, here also calculating different slopes you will get the value for acceleration at different points, and time axis you can mention uniformly with that from a velocity time graph. By calculating the slope you can draw a acceleration time graph also, right? Now, the next important point here is that whatever area enclosed in this velocity time graph, you will get the displacement under that particular area which you are going to calculate. Now this mainly comes up with your numericals. It will be more clear when you do with some numericals, right? Now I told you whenever you calculate the area under the given graph, whatever may be, you will be getting the displacement. Now again from a velocity time graph, first you can calculate slope, there you will get acceleration, you can draw a acceleration time graph. Similarly, by calculating the area under different parts, you will get displacement, which means that from velocity time graph again you can draw a displacement time graph also, right? Now it is not necessary that it should be given in a straight line or like that. It can be like this, a graph given like this, it can be like this also. So you can split up this figure into two trapezium and you can find the area also. Now here you are having positive part also, negative part also. The area calculated here will give you positive displacement, and the area calculated below, that is in your negative coordinate, will give you the negative displacement. That is only the difference. Now these are the main points which you have to remember in a velocity time graph. Next we are coming to acceleration time graph. Now here also when you come to acceleration time graph, the first graph you can see it is the acceleration time graph for a body with uniform velocity. See what is acceleration? Change in velocity with time. So if it is a uniform velocity, velocity is not changing. So automatically acceleration will be 0. That is why you are getting a straight line along your x-axis itself, right? Now coming to the second graph, you are having acceleration time graph for your uniform acceleration or your increasing velocity, uniform increase in velocity. Again that will be a straight line parallel to your x-axis. Now the third case you are having it for uniform retardation. Retardation is nothing other than negative acceleration, so that the straight line will come in the negative coordinate. That is only the difference there. Now one important thing you have to remember is that if the velocity is changing in an irregular manner, there also, see both these cases are for uniform velocity and uniform acceleration and uniform retardation. Now change in velocity, it is acceleration. It is not necessary that the change in velocity should be uniform. Now what if the non-uniform change in velocity, that is in an irregular manner, if the velocity is going to change? In that case also you will get an acceleration time graph. It can be a curve of any shape. Depending upon the irregularity, the graph for irregular change in velocity can be a curve of any shape depending upon the situation. This is all about acceleration time graph. Now we are coming to motion under gravity. When we talk about motion under gravity, general thing is we are talking about freely falling bodies. You have already learned that freely falling bodies means bodies which are falling freely under the action of gravity only. You call it as freely falling body. Now depending upon that also you are going to have three graphs. First one, displacement time graph for freely falling body, which will be a curve like this. Second one, velocity time graph will be a straight line inclined to your time axis. And third one, acceleration time graph for a freely falling body. It will be a straight line parallel to your x-axis. Now from all these graphs, whatever it may be, either directly you will be asked to draw a graph with each situation, or the graph can be given to you and you will be asked the graph represents which type of motion or which graph. And other than that, the most important thing is that you will be getting numericals out of these portions. Now with this we are winding up with graphical representation of linear motion. Go through your prescribed textbook properly till your next class.